What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Early Edge NFL Kickoff Show, brought to you by BetMGM, the Sportsbook. Born in Vegas, Will Brinson, Danny Brasco, and Nejad. Kicking off, Bills and Niners, or leading you up to kickoff. What's up, fellas?
Man, we got a snowball. I'm excited. It's gonna be an awesome one. These snow games always create some funky plays, just some good old backyard atmosphere. So I love these. It's great for Sunday night.
A lot of unknown with the weather. I mean, these are kind of the harder games to handicap. But what happened? Tell me what happened, because I'm on a delay.
No way.
Tell everybody what happened, because nobody's
Bryce Young deep down and feeling for a touchdown. Let's go. Sia's got some DFS going. I swear to God. 25-yard touchdown, 23-20 Panthers.
Who caught the ball?
Adam Thielen.
Yeah,
let's go, Sia.
I see it now. Okay. If that was David Moore, if that was
Panthers,
David Moore, it would be big for me. But if you watched it, listen, if you watched FFT DFS, you know I was on the Bryce Young, David Moore stack. It's looking pretty good, particularly for the afternoon slate. Will, go ahead.
I mean, no, we can just sit here and sweat your DFS if you want. No, but I mean, Bryce Young, did you have Thielen, right? Or you just have Bryce Young?
No, it was to David Moore. But okay. I mean, obviously a touchdown pass is good for DFS. Yeah. I'll check once these games go final. I'll see how I'm doing.
And
Panthers up 3 with
SportsLine members, Cash Thielen over 39.5 receiving yards too. So Sia's riding the DFS slate, and we're riding some Panthers unexpected heroes today.
One more thing, and I know we got to get into this game, but another reason to be into Discord. So I've had a nice day so far. I've hit 3 out of my 4 plays, like the Sunday plays. The one I missed was Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdowns. I guess I got to let that one go. But it's been a good day, but I jumped in the Discord at halftime of the Rams game. I said, hey, over 49.5 receiving yards for Puka Nacua, a really good look. He got that pretty easily.
He had 4 at half too.
Yeah, exactly. And we knew he was gonna get involved. So I know a lot of people were in Discord. They caught that live play as well. So things are looking pretty good. Let's see if we can hammer this night game.
All right. SportsLine.gg/SportsLine to get in there. I'm trying to clear all this crap out of my screen. Sorry. You can also go to sportsline.com/join, use promo code winners, get 60% off an annual subscription. If you do that, you will get access to the Discord. So go do that right now. You would, pays for itself. 60% off an annual plan. Promo code winners. You bet on Puka Nacua live over 49.5 receiving yards. You cash immediately, and you've already paid for your year. Why would you not do it? Go do it if you haven't. If you're watching on X or Twitter, whatever we call it now, make sure and join us in the YouTube chat. Got plenty of people in here. Well, if you have player props or questions about the game itself, let us know in the chat. We'll star them. We will get to them in a second. Let's dive into the game itself, though. Bills -6.5 now, a total of 44.5, and quite obviously a snow game, which is pretty awesome. The last time we had a snow game in a primetime affair, it was Thursday night, and it went way, way over. That's not going to stop Danny Brasco from doing what he does best, which is taking a primetime under.
I mean, the snow globe is shaking right now. We have no choice here. There's 24 inches of snowfall that hit the ground. Grounds crews at Highmark Stadium been working around the clock. They're calling, Bills Mafia, everyone and their cousin who can grab a shovel and help out to just make sure this game actually gets played. But you make a good point, right? Snow games can go over. The slip and slide effect can work against you, right? For defenders that just can't make tackles. In this one, though, I do think we're going to see a run-heavy game plan from both sides. And it's not just the snow and the 10-plus mile per hour winds and the 20-plus mile per hour gusts that are expected that could impact the special teams, but also a few key pieces missing on both sides. We know that the 49ers have sort of been just limping around the last few weeks. Brock Purdy looks like he's going to tough it out through his shoulder injury and play, but the concern is on the offensive line. All the skill position players that can light it up for San Francisco, they've had historic stats when they have Purdy, Samuel, Ayuk, and Trent Williams, of course, CMC as well, and Trent Williams on the field together. He is the key cog that makes it all go, that allows the offense to open up for them. No Trent Williams, and they've really struggled. Add to that their guard, Aaron Banks, is also going to be out. I think Purdy, who's already nursing a shoulder injury, is going to be under duress in the snow. Could get rough for him. So I do like the under here. I don't think they put up their share of points to go over this total. And for the Bills side, Dalton Kincaid's going to miss this game. Looks like Keon Coleman, dealing with a nagging wrist injury, also going to miss this game. So maybe take away some deep shot ability there. And I think we get a run-heavy, clock-bleeding under in the snow, Brinson.
And you also have a teaser, Danny.
I do. So good opportunity here for two favorites that I like. We can do a 6-point teaser and basically just make them both pick'ems. I'm going to start with the Bills tonight. I just mentioned the injury concerns for the 49ers. And the Bills are also coming out of a bye week, just healthy, ready to go. Josh Allen in prime time in a snow game just feels like a spot where I would, if anything, lean towards the Bills minus 6.5. But I'll play them in the teaser just for them to win outright tonight. And I'm going to pair that with Monday night's game tomorrow. So you'll probably see this on the recap screen on Tuesday. We got a couple days to wait. But I like the Broncos to win outright there. Of course, Jameis Winston and the Browns coming off an upset win where they got the Steelers, and all of a sudden Steelers dropped 44 on the Bengals. Crazy league we're in. But Jameis Winston has struggled against Sean Payton. He's actually 3-6 straight up against him in his losses last 3 straight. Bo Nix, rookie surprise, all of a sudden making a bid for rookie of the year. He's 5-0 straight up and against the spread when he's playing as the favorite. So a lot of the time you look at a rookie QB as an inflated favorite. He's getting it done anyway. I'm going to take away the points just because it does feel like quite a bit. But I think the Broncos in that secondary are just too much for a thin Browns offense that won't have Cedric Tillman, one of Sia's favorite players. And I just don't think Jameis Winston will fare too well against Patrick Surtain and company. So I'll take away the points on both sides. I'll tease them both to a pick 'em basically. And that's my play for the Sunday and Monday primetime tease.
I like it. You can circle back tomorrow and hopefully be correct for getting the Bills. No, I mean, I guess I didn't really do my hair, Lori, but it's cold in here. It's really cold in Raleigh relative for Raleigh. And I was out of town for Thanksgiving, so the heat's still getting going. So I decided to toss on my favorite Super Bowl, poofball hat, whatever you want to call this. Anywho, I'm on the Bills. I think it's a Sunday night statement game. The 49ers are in a bad spot. We mentioned no Trent Williams. We mentioned Brock Purdy's injury. Josh Allen. Saquon Barkley just put himself, it looked like he was basically fading out of the MVP discussion and then rips off essentially a game-winning touchdown run to put himself right back, in that mix. It's him and Josh Allen now with the Ravens having too many losses. And I think Josh Allen is going to show up big in a home game against a possible, not Super Bowl matchup team, but the 49ers were in the Super Bowl last year. They are one of the teams, the class of the NFC. It's a big primetime game. We thought it would be, the 49ers need this one, but the Bills, want this one too. I mean, the Bills aren't just going to, just put it in cruise control. And I think Allen has a superhero game, goes nuts and runs the ball a bunch, throws a couple touchdown passes. And with Brock Purdy to throw a bunch, Bills turn them over. Bills win by double digits. So I'm on that. Anything on the side or total for you, Sia?
I'm sorry. I'm totally locked into now.
No, you're fine.
Well, the Carolina game's gone into overtime. So that's good for me because a lot of my players are in that game. So that
do you have a comma involved in your winnings right now?
Yes, I do.
You have 5 digits involved in your winnings.
No, not 5 digits.
Okay,
There's probably potential there, but it would take a David Moore long bomb touchdown situation, which again, we're going to overtime, so anything's possible. So I kind of lean towards the 49ers here, although I'll say this, if it gets away from them, it's really going to get away from them, which is why I'm not going to make the 49ers an official play. If anything, I would look at the scripted stuff and I would look at the 49ers in an absolute must-win spot in the first quarter where you can get +1.5, maybe the first half. I actually do like the 49ers first quarter +1.5. I think that's a good look with the scripted plays. We don't have Trent Williams. We don't have Nick Bosa, but the offensive line does have a guy that we thought was not going to be playing. So I don't think they're quite as depleted as people are talking about. Bills defense, very formidable, but this receiving group for the Bills, I mean, it's Khalil Shakir and it's kind of everybody else. So I'm not super impressed with this offense. If the 49ers can hold up, I expect them to do it for a quarter or two. But either way, I would lean towards the 49ers and getting the points here.
All right. Let's look at our inactives. But I mentioned again, if you're on X, come join the chat on YouTube. Trent Williams out, Nick Bosa out. That's big. For the Bills, Keon Coleman was ruled out. Kind of a surprise. Dalton Kincaid we knew would miss. So Dawson Knox and Khalil Shakir kind of the focuses there. Nothing. I mean, I don't think Keon Coleman a little bit of a surprise, but that's about it for these two teams. Brock Purdy playing, obviously.
And Lenore being out is a key cog there. I think. Well, slot corner defending, who Sia just mentioned, Khalil Shakir, most efficient receiver in the league, actually, best catch rate. That's a big one. He's also a good tackler. Flanagan Fowles, it's not a name that's going to, make everyone shout and scream at home, But along with Dre Greenlaw, who's been out, it just feels like the Niners are missing a lot of key tacklers. And with Nick Bosa, again, I agree with Brinson. I think Allen might have his way on the edge, maybe be able to work outside and run outside the numbers. So I do think that it may be tough sledding. Good pun there, Danny, for the Niners to make tackles in the snow without some of those key linebackers.
All right, let's get to our player props. I'll start it off because I think we have a situation not unlike my Jalen Hurts run a few weeks ago where he was underpriced. They were giving the ball down in the red zone and he was scoring. I'm going to take Josh Allen at plus money, anytime touchdown. I think this is a game. It's later in the season. It's cold as hell in Buffalo. It's prime time. The Bills are competing for the number 1 seed. The Chiefs survived another game, and the Bills want to keep pace with the Chiefs. Josh Allen is going to be a little more willing to put it on the line. They're going to be a little more willing to call Josh Allen red zone goal line plays, let him run the ball. I think Josh Allen gets in the end zone for an anytime touchdown in this game, and I think it probably should be like minus 115. Certainly, they've been willing to run the ball a bunch with James Cook and Ray Davis down by the goal line. But again, I think all those factors will cause Josh Allen to get a little more rushing equity by the goal line. What do you have, Sia?
So I like Deebo Samuel here. I'm not as concerned about the weather. We'll see. I mean, the snow could really mess things up. I'm not super concerned about the wind. But if there is wind, I like the short area passing game for the San Francisco 49ers. And I think they're going to have to get Deebo Samuel involved, kind of get their identity back with Deebo Samuel, maybe in the backfield, but more particularly in the short area passing game. He was absolutely shut down the last time they played against Green Bay, but that was Brandon Allen at quarterback. The 3 games prior to that, even though he didn't put up gaudy stats, he had 4, 5, and 4 receptions. So I'm taking his over receptions. I do think they're going to feature him in the screen game, the short area passing game, which is why I like the receptions over the yardage, but I certainly think he can get the yardage over 39.5 is where it is in most places. The combo line is in that 49.5, 50.5 area. Don't hate that either. I do think if San Francisco is going to stay relevant in this game, it's going to be because, yes, CMC, but mostly because of Deebo Samuel, especially in weather like this, where Juwan Jennings might get sort of taken away a little bit. Kittle's going to have his game. I think this is a big game for Deebo Samuel, in my opinion.
All right, Danny, what do you got?
Yeah, and to see his point, I will say, if you're betting on Niners props, you're kind of getting discounts on a lot of guys, like Deebo, 3.5 receptions. Take a look at Christian McCaffrey's rushing yards, set at a low 59.5. So I was compelled to maybe play some discounted Niners props with the market sentiment sort of against them. But I like what you're putting down, Brinson. I think Josh Allen has a game. Prime time, snowman Josh. Again, we'll see what the snow is like on the ground. Like I said, I'm not a meteorologist, but just considering what the crews have been doing, I do think that more is expected to fall. And I think Josh Allen's going to relish that and look to use his legs. So I'm going with his over rushing yards. Jeff, I do bet on overs. Jeff Stenberg in the chat, who's just mercilessly making fun of me for my unders. He says that people that pick under pee sitting down. Jeff, people that only bet overs pee all over the toilet seat and don't clean it up. I like Josh Allen over 35.5 rushing yards. He's gone over this in the last 2 games. Brinson's taken the touchdown. He scored in his last 2 games. Did it against the Chiefs in prime time. Well rested, coming off the bye. I just think it's a Josh Allen type of game. He's going to look to go. I was looking at Ray Davis over rushing yards, set at a low 15.5. Couldn't find Ty Johnson lines. I was looking all over the board trying to find rushing props, but I thought to myself, you know what? It's just going to be Josh doing it himself and making a lot of these linebackers slip and slide and trying to chase him. Hopefully it is snowing. This will really play into it even more. So give me the over rush yards on Josh Allen.
All right, let's get to some prop chat questions. We also don't have any parlays, so we got some time, or we can get Sia here. We can let Sia go free to sweat his DFS.
He's just watching that. He's not even watching us.
I'll take updates on this game since I'm on a delay, but it looks like Tampa has the ball coming out of overtime.
Tampa's getting the ball and is already all over the midfield line after a Baker pass to Jalen McMillan for 22 yards at the 40.
Okay. Also, another update: the Eagles beat the Ravens. Lamar Jackson now moves to 23-2 against NFC teams. Justin Tucker, the most accurate kicker in NFL history, inexplicably missing field goals. If you're in the SportsLine Discord, RJ White was talking about the curse of the most accurate field goal kicker. Because the moment that Tucker missed a couple, it became Eddie Pinheiro in the lead for all-time accuracy. Pinheiro immediately missed a field goal. So you don't want to be that guy. And unreal misses. Can't believe that an NFC team actually beat Lamar.
Yeah. And we mentioned Saquon Barkley in the MVP mix with Allen. Allen knows that Allen's going to ball out. I think, Sia, you probably want in this Panthers game, you're fine with a Buccaneers field goal. I think
Yes.
you prefer a Buccaneers field goal, and then the Panthers are trying to throw a touchdown or score a touchdown to win. Yeah.
Got to hold them to a field goal. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. A Buccaneers touchdown is disastrous. Well, not disastrous, but I assume afternoon people might have some of the guys who are scoring. Laurie asked Cook over 2.5 receptions plus 120. I like it. Dink and dunk. Thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind the play. Let me look at that as this show goes in terms of what we've been looking at with James Cook. I mean, I like him in the rushing category more than I do the receiving category. There's a reason it's plus 120, but I don't hate that look, especially in a game like this where you don't have a lot of reliable receivers outside of like Khalil Shakir, basically, maybe a little Dawson Knox. Dump downs. The Niners are going to have to create a pass rush. I mean, they've got no choice. So Cook could be open here.
And actually, on the other side of the ball, I was interested maybe in McCaffrey over receiving yards. It's at 33.5. It was maybe a little too high for my liking, but no Aaron Banks, no Trent Williams. Pressure's coming, quick stuff, short area stuff potentially with weather. I'm not mad at running back receiving props in a weather-impacted game potentially.
All right, you're going to get a 4th and 7 on the Carolina 37.
So I need this field goal to go in if they're going to kick it, because otherwise Carolina sets up for a field goal to win.
And
then it's like a first down and you're there.
Yeah.
They were on the Carolina 34 the last time they kicked. So if they line up here, I don't have it on my TV. I'm looking at the stat feed.
This will be a 55-yarder. So we'll see if
I missed it.
Let's go.
He missed it wide left. Let's see.
Oh no, you don't need that. You needed a make. Sorry.
Yeah, I needed to make. That's okay. We'll see what happens.
Now the Panthers are trying to get like 30 yards and then kick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing on the Cook over receptions is if this game gets out of hand, and again, no Trent Williams. So like if the Bills could get a pass rush home, if the Bills have a lead, I don't think they're going to throw to Cook at all. I think they'll be running the football and maybe Allen running with his. So like that's the only concern is like, will they play a little more buttoned up and just try to win the like I don't know. We'll see. But I mean it's not certainly it's certainly viable.
And if they do go super run heavy, that screen will be there waiting to set up. So
that's true too. The Josh Allen, Tasha asked Josh Allen longest run over 12 rushing yards. I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think he might get that in the first quarter.
He's honestly. And it's gonna be a cool one too. It won't just be like him breaking away. He's gonna put his shoulder down and crack someone, truck stick somebody, and
or hurdle someone and then like throw the Heisman pose or something up. Ramo asked, hey team, thoughts on Juwan Jennings 4.5 receptions? It's a lot.
I think that's a pretty efficient line. If this was a normal game with normal weather, I would like this. But to be honest with you, when I'm looking at Juwan Jennings, I'm looking at his yards more than I am his receptions because he can get downfield. I think this is a no for me. If anything, I would lean to the under, and it's partly because I do think guys like CMC, Kittle, and Deebo Samuel in a game like this with weather like this are going to be featured again in that short area passing game. JJ usually kind of getting downfield a little bit more, maybe not the greatest spot for him.
Okay. We've got Kylie asks, anybody on the under 45 or Bill? Oh no, she also said Sia. Do you like Bills over 1.5 field goals minus 114?
It's so funny. Kylie's like, well, this is like a running joke, right? Like where I've never
I started that one immediately. I was like, yes.
So the answer to that one is it's not something I would bet. We got a good field goal kicker in Buffalo. We got weird conditions. It's just I'm not super interested in it. But it'll probably hit. I think you're always on the right side of it. I think when you're looking at Buffalo field goal kickers.
Danny said, Jeff Stenberg in the chat just feedback, Danny. I love to see it. All right, Kylie's a guy. I'm sorry. Kylie can be both. My bad. I said that and realized that I'm an idiot and I presumed. But shout out to Kylie for being a guy. Where was I? Ray first touchdown. We'll get to that in a minute. Don't hate it, Scott. I'll tell you that. Mike M says Josh Allen 25 plus rushing yards and CMC 50 rushing yards is plus 105 seems solid. I like the Allen rushing yards. Don't love. I mean, I think CMC probably gets there, but you can get game scripted out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more Jordan Mason and a little bit of Deebo Samuel in the backfield. Again, in a game like this, what the Niners want to do is just keep that Bills defense on the field. If they can somehow, without Trent Williams, manage some semblance of a consistent running game and just pound you between the tackles, that's like their ideal scenario. Keep their own defense off the field, keep the Bills defense on the field. It wouldn't surprise me at all if CMC, I mean, here's what we know about Kyle Shanahan and CMC. If he's healthy, they're going to run CMC a ton. I get that, but not the best spot. I don't hate that number. You're getting plus money on the 25 plus and 50 plus, but beware of CMC.
And like, we talk about it being a Josh Allen game, and this is, they sort of tie them together. Like, it's also a Niners kitchen sink game. They're 5-6, and at 5-7, the Rams won. The
Seahawks won.
Cardinals lost, but the Seahawks won. So it's like starting to slip away a little bit. All right, here we go. Bryce Young pass to Adam Thielen to Tampa Bay 34 for 16 yards.
Go.
Probably going to see Dave Canales settle for a field goal here, but nevertheless. I mean, this is all that's left. It's the afternoon slate, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the Panthers had the ball. If David Moore breaks one here, I would guess we're going to see a couple runs and then Eddie Pinheiro to kick. But
I think you're right.
Yeah. James Cook anytime touchdown. Don't mind it. I think it's like minus 130. They're going to give it's going to be him or Josh Allen down at the goal line.
Yeah, as my friend Sia says, tell us the odds and it'll help us inform your play.
Yeah.
I have it in front of me actually. It is minus 115. I don't mind that. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I didn't take that. I took Josh Allen instead because it's plus money. I just think it's a Josh Allen run game.
Sia, you piqued my interest on Jordan Mason rush yards all of a sudden. I could see them using him as more of the battering ram inside the tackles, to your point, and maybe use CMC in sort of like a swing pass game, use him more as a receiver or, spread out a little more. I'm looking for lines here. I'm not finding too many Jordan Mason props. If anyone sees them on any books, let me know what you guys have got. But I'm
plus 950 anytime touchdown, 50-1 first touchdown for Jordan Mason.
Interesting. I just want yards. I feel like we can get a discount on him. Maybe something real low in the 30s.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
What happened?
Chuba just fumbled.
Unreal.
In field goal range. Chuba fumbled.
You want the slate to end at that point.
Hey, listen. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
The real football implications of this game are like huge. And we should mention for San Francisco are huge too, because while we had a couple of teams like the Rams and the Seahawks win, Arizona losing is still kind of big. And if Tampa loses, when we're talking about wild cards, San Francisco still is a relevant team. If they can somehow pull off this upset, this becomes really interesting, not just in the NFC West, but in the playoff picture in general.
I would also just throw it out there that if the Panthers win this game, they're 2 games back of first place in the NFC South.
That's insane. I'm also going to throw this out here. The tie is very live. What is the tie going to look like in this wild card picture with tiebreakers and everyone's 6-6 in the NFC West, where the plot continues to thicken? What would a tie do to that picture?
It would throw a wrench in a lot of stuff. Sia, would you live bet? Kylie, who's a guy, asked, would you live bet Samuel over 3 or 2.5 receptions?
Okay, so you're saying, well, so here's the thing. I think Deebo's going to get involved early. So I don't think that live bet opportunity is going to be available to you. Yeah. In fact, one thing I looked at that I think is very bettable, and this becomes a little speculative, but because I think Deebo is going to get involved early, you can take first quarter Deebo receiving yards over 5+ at minus 125. I think he gets there. I think the 49ers really force feed Deebo early. We'll see about the middle and the end of the game, but I don't think you're going to get that live bet opportunity. But yeah, if he doesn't have any catches on the first 2 drives, I would look at his yardage or his receptions certainly live. Yeah.
This is speaking about the Panthers.
Yeah, by the way, the total in that game is 46. So you got the overbettors are sweating the non-tie right now because that would be brutal.
Kittle over 45.5 receiving yards.
Pretty efficient to me. His reception, this is a game where I'm like kind of looking at the receptions a little bit more than I normally do. Looking at his receptions right now, it looks like 4.5 at plus 130. Yeah, that's not great. I like the plus number there, but he's probably not getting to 5. I don't know. I think I would take the under on Kittle, to be honest with you. It's close.
Yeah. And I'm looking at on the inactives list. I did not see Matt Milano's name, and it looks like he is ready to come back. So that could improve the middle of the field defense for the Bills there. So,
Oh, for sure.
Great point. It's good for you. It's good for your under too, Danny.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Dawson Knox over 27.5 receiving yards.
Tough call there.
Yeah, I think the problem with the receiving game, I mean, just looking at the list, Khalil Shakir is around 56.5. Amari Cooper, he is active, right? 40.5. We got Dawson Knox at 26, 27.5. Curtis Samuel, Mac Hollins. I'm just not 100% sure who the key guy is going to be outside of Shakir. I lean because I think the portfolio is so diversified, and I do think guys like Mac Hollins and Curtis Samuel and James Cook are going to get involved. It's tough for me to find a receiver and an over here on the Bill side specifically.
I now that you said Mac Hollins, I watched him come into the stadium barefoot as he loves to do in frigid weather. I'm like, that guy's ready to play today. I mean, he's got frostbite on his toes. It doesn't bother him. I think he's going to catch a couple balls. 25
plus yards for Mac Hollins. If you guys want a ladder, is plus 170. 40 plus
ladder?
Is plus 425. 50 plus is plus 750. You want to have some real fun. You take one of those numbers and you parlay it with an anytime touchdown or a first touchdown and have some real fun. But I do think Mac Hollins is in play. He can get downfield.
Yeah, and the Bills like him. He's a great run blocker. Dawson Knox, good run blocker too. I would rather have Dawson Knox over 2.5 catches at minus 135 than the yardage. Because, I mean, he could catch like 3 passes for 7 yards each and be easily under a total. James Cook over 16.5 receiving yards.
I'm not mad at that. That could happen in one play. He's shifty. They could run screen for him. Like I said before, they might set you up for the screen. If they go run heavy and you're stacking the box on him, all of a sudden the whole line slips out and they let everyone in the backfield and there goes Cook. So I'm not mad at that.
I would prefer this. I think James Cook over 60 rushing yards. That's minus. I see it at minus 170. So yeah, I mean like parlay piece, but I don't think you want to lay that. His over under is. You could also do James Cook rushing and there's not really a good number on there.
His splits are really interesting when it comes to receiving. Just looking at, kind of a smaller sample size, the last 4 games on James Cook, 5 receptions, 7 yards. Okay, that's interesting. 1 reception, 5 yards, 5 receptions, 25 yards, 3 receptions, 22 yards. It doesn't really feel like they're giving him efficient targets. It doesn't really feel like they're setting up plays for him in space like you might see from a CMC. So that makes me think that I think it was Lori Moore asking earlier that maybe the receptions prop over 2.5 at plus money, maybe that's the play as opposed to the yards. I'm starting to think that's a good look.
By the way, the Rashad White ripped off a 38-yard run. Baker Mayfield took a knee, and the Bucs kicked a game-winning field goal. Tough scene for the Panthers.
Damn. Crazy. They had it.
CMC touchdown minus 110. Take it.
You're not going to get that price too often. I mean, remember last year it was damn near up to minus 300. So if you feel like we're saying desperation mode for the Niners, CMC's got to get touches if they get near the goal line. At that price, hard to argue with.
Ray Davis over half receiving yards plus 105. This is like watching Fonzie elbowing an ATM machine and watching all the cash fall out. Easy.
Jeff is the best.
Jeff, I know. Jeff like spends his Saturday nights writing jokes for chat. Like,
I was going to say, this guy needs like to, pop into an improv show or comedy stand-up show.
He's got material, man.
Real quick story. He came in on one of my Twitter spaces, the motivational ones I do every few weeks. And he came in and he spoke and I told him, you need to be a stand-up comic. We literally had that conversation and he turned it down. He said, he's good on the computer, but he's not good in front of people. And I said, just put your head down and just start talking. People will laugh. So good job, Jeff.
Yeah. It's easy to get good in front of people. Once somebody laughs once, you start eating up the crowd. Mm-hmm. Brock Purdy from Christian Howard. Brock Purdy under 225.5 passing yards.
The only reason I would stray away from this is the potential for the negative game script.
Yep. Agree with that. Josh Allen interception, minus 110. I mean, he's been more aggressive lately, throwing more of them. Again, negative game script. He's not going to throw a ton. And we've seen the Bills blow. I mean, the 49ers are a good team. They're just missing some key pieces. And the Bills, no Bosa and no Trent Williams, they just might be able to do what they want. And if that's the case, then Josh Allen's not throwing a ton and not throwing an interception. So that's the only concern.
Yeah, I did notice his attempts prop was 30.5, which honestly is really low, but I thought it would be even maybe potentially lower, like 29.5 to your point, Will, where maybe he's not passing a lot. His completions prop was 19.5. I kind of like the under on both if you think that the Bills are going to win this game and just kind of establish themselves early. But given that he does have 30.5 pass attempts, it does lend itself to potentially him playing hero ball and San Francisco getting a pick. I'm not betting on that, but I don't hate that call.
Okay. And finally, that's it. Okay. Brock Purdy over 17.5 rushing yards. I like the over on that. Brock runs a lot.
So
gotta be a little careful, but
can I update everybody since we talked about it so much on the show? My winnings had a comma in them, but only like the lowest end of the comma you can get. And it turns out that the lineup that was really heavy actually had Chuba Hubbard in it. So that fumble actually cost me. So overtime didn't end up working out for me. It totally could have. So I'll take the upside every time, but we got
you made money though.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's good. All right, good stuff.
Check out FFTDFS, everybody.
Yeah, that is a great show. I listen to that every week. Good stuff.
Legit. These guys are really good.
I played Darnold on the full slate. I probably should have played Bryce, honestly, or somebody else. Anyway, Purdy 1 touchdown in each half plus 320. It's a pretty good number, but I don't really like the bet.
It's a great number.
Yeah.
It's tough.
That's the only reason I semi-like it is because of the odds, but we've mentioned this before. These player to rush for 5 yards in each quarter and both guys to throw for 15. And it's just a sketchy spot. You got to be right number of times, and it's tough to be right more than once in the NFL.
The number is what the number is for a reason too.
Yeah, but it is a very appealing number, especially if you're thinking negative game script and CMC doesn't get off the ground, which we kind of – we talked about it, like the bet with the 50+ rushing yards. We were somehow tentative about that. Well, if that's the case, then if Brock Purdy is going to do it, it's going to be through the air. The question is he going to do it, right, against this Bills defense? That's the question. And he's been a little shaky this year relative to last year. So we'll see what happens today with him.
Brock Purdy, longest completion over under 32.5. I mean, I think the under is where I would look on that. It's a long completion.
Yeah, I think someone asked this in the SportsLine Discord too, and RJ gave some analysis on why he liked the under. So Brinson making it a second to pass that.
Yeah, I would lean to the under.
Yeah.
You can also take Brock over 1.5 passing touchdowns. See, that's the thing is Brock to throw 2 passing touchdowns anytime is plus 150. So you have to get one in the first 2 quarters and you have to get one in the second 2 quarters to get the 320. I guess I might like the 320 more than the 150 though.
Yeah, the numbers they're just staring at us right now. It's dangling.
Double. I totally agree. If you like the over 1.5, maybe take the chance that he gets 1 in each half. I mean, he could always get 3 passing touchdowns. It's not impossible. So you could still get that 1 and 1 and then just have an extra 1 in one of the halves. But unlikely. James
Cook under 15.5 longest rush only hit this 3 times. I mean, he's hitting 30% of the time. I don't know.
It's tough to play this in what we think should be a run-focused game, right? And if there is snow on the ground, it could create variance. I am on the under, but I feel like if I'm wrong, I'm going to be wrong by a lot, right? I think that I'm going to win this by margin or lose this by margin. So it could be on the back of some big breakaway runs where everyone slips and slides. So I might stay away from that.
Yeah.
Ricky Purcell over 19.5 receiving yards.
He hasn't been involved enough for me to want to take this bet. And again, given the conditions on the road, Purdy with somewhat of a shoulder injury, he's still trying to shake off.
It's pretty thin. Yeah.
It's it could absolutely happen, but it's just not, I don't really see where there's an edge there with that bet.
I agree with you there. All right. We've all had our first touchdown bet called back before. And BetMGM is giving you a second chance. With BetMGM's Pro Football Second Chance, place any first touchdown score or bet. If your player doesn't score first but scores second, get your entire stake back and cash. No opt-in required. Here's how it works. Place a pregame straight first touchdown score or bet in any NFL game. If your player scores the first touchdown of the game, win your wager is normal. If your player scores the second touchdown of the game, you'll get your stake back and cash. It's that simple. Log into BetMGM for more details. Let's get to our first touchdown scorers. Sia, you have a diamond. Danny's still diamondless, I believe. We need more diamonds, frankly. I hope somebody gets one. Sia, you have the rock, so to speak.
Yeah, so I'm getting really good odds. Danny mentioned it earlier. We're seeing all the lines on San Francisco kind of depressed here. And so I get to have Deebo Samuel at plus 1,500. Again, I think this is a Deebo game. To the extent this offense gets off the ground, I think Deebo is a huge part of it. And I just talked about how I think he's going to get involved early. Like, let's see if they can get down inside the green zone early. But I also think Debo's the type of guy that can bust a wide receiver screen 30, 40 yards. I mean, we've seen that historically, just haven't seen a lot of it this year. So give me Debo Samuel at very tasty odds, plus 1,500.
I actually didn't even see Debo at 15-1 or George Kittle. So I went even higher on the board. Ray Davis, 28-1. Here's the theory. He is, I think the Bills trust him at this point. I have a diamond, by the way, no big deal. It's fine. You don't need to correct it, Jake. Don't worry about it. Just wanted it on the record. But I think we could see like a long drive, get down to the red zone. Ray Davis comes in to spell James Cook and rips off a touchdown run. And I think 28-1 is pretty tasty for a guy who sees regular reps, regular carries, and they're not afraid to let him run near the goal line. So 28-1 for me with Ray Davis. I do like that Debo Samuel a lot, and don't hate yours at all either, Danny.
Yeah, a guy that has been getting involved in a lot of gadget plays recently. A lot of time when you bet on a Bills receiver like Khalil Shakir or maybe Mac Hollins, all of a sudden you see Curtis Samuel emerge, and they have been using him in a lot of goal line sets, I've noticed. So I like him to potentially get involved down near there if they're running a lot of run-focused plays. I could see them running like a little reverse action to Samuel. So maybe a gadget trick play in the works for Curtis Samuel at 20-1.
Don't dislike Curtis Samuel at all. Mac Hollins right around 20-1 too. I wish he was a little higher. I'd be very interested in Mac Hollins' first touchdown. He just gets these like random touchdowns. It feels like.
Yeah, that guy's got frostbite as we speak. So he doesn't feel his feet. He might not feel a pulse right now. He's unconscious. He might go off tonight. I like it.
Yeah. All right, let's recap our bets. And this is where I tell you that I have the Bills -6. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown. Danny has the Bills under 44, the full game under 44.5. Teasing the Bills with the Broncos tomorrow night. Excuse me. Josh Allen over 33.5 rushing yards, like that a lot. Sia on Debo Samuel over 3.5 receptions. All right. That'll do it for us. Good stuff. Sia, congrats on your win.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I wish everybody could have sweated a much bigger win. If we had overtime go the right way, this could have been DFS
outright. Is a cruel mistress, man.
Mm-hmm. It was fun. I'm glad I got to do that with all of you. Hopefully it wasn't too annoying.
I'm glad like something bad didn't happen. You were just like, okay.
Check it out. This is terrible.
It's all about the sweat. It's all about sweating it out with you guys.
That's right. All right. For Sia, for Danny, I'm Brinson. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you guys later.